Hello and welcome to The Print. I am Iram Siddiqui and today we are here in Guna Lok Sabha constituency with none other than Mr. Mahanaryaman, the son of Civil Union Minister Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia. We've been following him all day and he's been aggressively campaigning, going within villages, meeting people, listening to each of them. So we'll just do a short interview with him and understand his views. So I have to start with this question straight away. When are you entering politics?
I'm not entering politics right now. I am right now supporting my father and helping him in his endeavour to bring to light the issues of the people and the development that can be done to take this region forward to the next phase in life. For myself right now, I'm concentrating on my startup and I want that to be extremely successful. And I want to be an example for all the youngsters in India and in my area today that although it's a difficult road, it's a road that can be achieved. And we want to be youngsters who are not looking for employment, but who are creating employment in India.
Lovely. So, if I may ask, what are your views on politics? And in politics, who is your ideal and who do you look up to?
Definitely. I think that answer is very clear. I think in terms of my idol, I think who I look up to is definitely our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. The way he has changed the face of India, both in the country as well as outside the country on an international level, it is really commendable. I have friends who I went to college with who are now dying to come to India, a space where they looked down upon coming earlier, saying, oh, it's really difficult to do business, there's a lot of corruption. Now they are seemingly looking very excited and overjoyed at the fact that ease of doing business has become better. The opportunity to come to India has become better. So that has been a huge change. And you look at big companies, you look at Apple, you look at Tesla, you look at all these companies. They're investing heavily into India. The manufacturing chain has shift majorly from China to India. So there are huge fundamental changes. You look at digital penetration today, it's at the highest. You look at the way people are transacting today, it's digital. When I go to every roadside today, every thela wala has a QR code on which he is transacting. That was never seen before. Everyone is using cash. Today, India has become a digital economy. Today, digital penetration is at the highest. Today, mobile penetration is at the highest. Internet penetration is at the highest. So, the digital economy is moving fast at a very high pace in India. You look at road infrastructure. You're building 3 lakh kilometers every 5 years, which is unbelievable. You look at your inflation levels has gone from 8% to 6%.
Right. So, since you've been talking about the transformation that has happened in the country across various sectors, and I have seen you interact with people and jot down their grievances across villages. What are your plans for your constituency? What do you think are the challenges and what is the road ahead?
So, considering I consider myself still a part of the youth. So, considering I'm a part of the youth, I think me and my father have constant conversation on what the youth are thinking and what the youth feel should be the shape of the future of this constituency. And when we speak, I think some areas definitely come to light.
Right.
I think one of the main areas that we'd like to focus on is industrialization, to create more job opportunity. The second is, of course, to create better and more educational systems in India. It's already being done, but we want to create more educational systems linked with industry. Something the Prime Minister said very early on is that it's very important for industry and education to be linked so that unemployment levels go even further down. So we want to do that. We want to focus on sports. Every local area requires a sports field where people can practice, where people can play, where people can become future stars of India. So these are the kinds of initiatives that we want to take. We also want to kind of get a constant solution for water resources.
Right.
It's a limited source. There are issues all around the world with regard to water. So we want to secure water in our country today, in our constituency today. So we're working on educational systems to make sure people don't waste water. The other last point that I want to focus on is a very important point which I feel is very dear to all of our hearts, which is Swachh Bharat. We want to make sure that each and every constituency of ours becomes cleaner, more vibrant, and environmentally eco-friendly.
Right. So, if we talk about the upcoming Lok Sabha election in Guna, your father is pitted against Mr. Deshraj Yadav's son, Yadvendra
Yes,
Yadav.
yes.
He is, I mean, his father has been associated with your grandmother, with your great grandmother, and even prior to Mr. Scindia, Mr. KP Yadav was elected as the MP from Guna. He is also your father's aide. How do you look at these developments, and what do you think about them?
See, for me, what I don't really care about that much about the opposition. What I care about and what my father cares about is more the development of the people and what the people's views are and what they want. As you've seen, you've been following us along the way. Our style of campaigning is very different. All of us spend a lot less time on a stage or with a mic. We spend a lot more time amongst our people. And I think that sets a stone. That sets a tone for a very different India, a very different campaign itself, catering more to the public's needs and wants rather than a one-way monologue, which other parties usually, are going to you're going to see. So we want to make it very different. We want to make it more vibrant, more conversational, something where the people feel that they are also have a space where they can say what they want and what they require.
And you don't think that these developments, if I may put it like that, will have any impact on the elections per se, whether it is Yadvendra Yadav contesting against your father and previously it was KP?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think the people's mandate is very clear. You see a lot of excitement amongst the youth and the people in general with respect to how the BJP has performed, with respect to how the Prime Minister has performed in his last tenure and in the last 10 years. So I think that we are very confident of victory here. Now, we are focusing on the margin of victory now. We want it to be a record breaking victory. So that's something that we are really, really focusing on and trying to galvanize as many people as we can to support us, to follow us, and of course, to go and vote on voting day. That's one of the most, the biggest issues in India is getting people to vote.
Right.
So making them aware of their responsibility, whichever way they go, making them aware of the responsibility to come out and vote. So the voter turnout is much higher than it previously was. So that has been our objective.
So, if I have to ask you this, your father was with the Congress and very close to Rahul Gandhi
Yes.
at some point of time.
Yes.
How do you look at Mr. Rahul Gandhi as a leader?
So today, I think that it's the thing is with the party itself. I think that they're at a stage where they're still introspecting,
Right.
and I think that they need to kind of really take charge of what they want to do and how they want to lead the country. And I think until that happens, it's going to be very difficult for them to galvanize support. Something that the BJP has done very well is paint a very clear picture of what the future is going to be looking like. Paint a very clear picture of the kinds of policies that are going to be created for not only the urban public but more importantly the rural public, because it's very important now in today's age to connect the urban and the rural.
Right.
Because rural is where 90% of your population is. Rural is what is the wheel that's turning India's economy today. So that is very important, and that picture comes out very clearly with the various policies that the manifesto has put in front. Also, very clearly with the leadership style of our Prime Minister. So that is something that I think people really want to see as a strong leader, is a mature leader, a leader that takes charge of his commitment and really follows behind what he's saying.
So, one last question. I have to ask you, when you look at Madhya Pradesh state, it was headed by, until very recently, Mr. Kamal Nath. And of course, things did not go very well
Yes.
during the 2018, post 2018 elections.
Yes.
How do you look at Mr. Kamal Nath as a leader and the state of Congress in MP?
Well, definitely, I have a huge amount of respect for him. He's a very senior leader of the Congress party and a very senior politician. So all politicians who are senior, it is in our culture and our Sanskriti, as we say, that we are taught to respect every leader and respect everyone who's older than you as well and their views. So I have an utmost amount of respect for him. With respect to the situation of Congress in Madhya Pradesh, I think that the picture is very clear. You can see how the public is showcasing that around you. I don't think I need to really speak about that. That picture is clear with the kind of support you're seeing in each, not only ours. You look at Pan India, you look at each and every location. I'm sure you're going to be visiting a lot more constituencies just other than ours. So you will see that as well, how people have galvanized support behind the party and where the Congress is failing.
So you have utmost respect for Mr. Nath, but you wouldn't want to comment on his leadership style or anything else.
No, that's for him to decide and it's for the public to decide.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
And in the near future, we are hoping that you would jump into at least the state electoral politics.
You're asking questions that my investors are going to, really come with a stick behind me, because they've committed and they've invested into my company, knowing that I am committed to the cause and knowing that I want to make this a big venture. So that's kind of what I'm focused on right now. And I want, as I said earlier, it's very important for me to be satisfied with the fact that I'm becoming an example for the youth. Because when I stand here and I tell everyone that, it's time for the youth to take charge and responsibility of their own lives, the government will give what it has to give. But at the end of the day, we as youth have to take responsibility for our lives, and if we want to make our lives better, it's about time also we take charge and we start acting and looking at the man in the mirror. You got to change and you got to act.
One thing that I've observed is that in none of your speeches today, you've invoked your family or your legacy. I mean, is it a conscious choice that you want to present yourself as a leader in itself? I mean, was that a conscious
No,
thought?
I think that the people of this region already know the history of this family. We have been with them for hundreds and hundreds of years. We have got various kinds of developments, from dams, Harsi Dam, which is Asia's largest mud dam, to roads, the first railway network in the state, to electrical lines with copper in earlier state days, which was never conceived upon. So, to medical facilities, to factories, it's something that the family has always brought, and that's a part of our DNA. So, it's not something that I need to go out and educate people about. I think what matters most today is what are the problems we need to solve for them and how we are solving for them and what is the vision by which we will accomplish that. And I think that's really what the youth of today wants to hear. Rather than what you did 100 years ago, they want to know what you're going to do today and what you're going to do tomorrow for them.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
giving us your
Thank you so
valuable
much.
time.
Thank you.